So let's continue because we have more things to check. Okay. So how we can understand that the woman is Yerushalayim? In order to understand that, first we need to understand what's the significance of Yerushalayim and what is her history. Okay, and we will see something very important here. And I don't have my notes in my notebook, I have it in my computer, so let me take a look here. So, you know, when we read the scriptures, and maybe you already noticed this, in different places we see YaHuWaH talking through his servants, the Nevi'im, the prophets, and so on, the different books of the Debar of YaHuWaH, talking about three groups. The first group is the house of YaHuWaH. The second group is the house of Israel. But there is an important third group, and this third group is the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. There are many places that is talking about these three groups, the house of YaHuWaH, the house of Israel, or the two houses, and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. Is always doing a reference of the inhabitants of Yerushalayim like something special, something separate. It's not the same like the house of YaHuWaH or the house of Israel. And let's look for some examples just to confirm this directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH. And the first example, we see it in the book of Melachim Bet. This is 2 King, Melachim Bet, 2 King, chapter 23, verse 2. And it says, "And the sovereign went up to the house of YaHuWaH with all the men of YaHuWaH." It's talking about the men of YaHuWaH. "And all the inhabitants of Yerushalayim with him." Is making the difference between the man of YaHuWaH and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. The second witness is in the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 8, verse 14. This is Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 14. It says, "And he shall be for a set apart place, but a stone of stumbling block, and a rock that makes for falling." For whom? To the both houses of Israel, the house of YaHuWaH and the house of Israel, as a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. So we see the three groups, the two houses, house of YaHuWaH, house of Israel, and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. Okay, we have a third witness. This is in the book of Yirmiyahu, chapter 4, verse 4. It says, "Circumcise yourselves unto YaHuWaH, and take away the foreskins of your hearts, you man of YaHuWaH, and inhabitants of Yerushalayim, lest my wrath come forth like fire and burn, with none to quench it, because of the evil of your deeds, men of YaHuWaH and inhabitants of Yerushalayim." Next witness is in the book of Yirmiyahu, chapter 32, verse 32. Jeremiah 32, verse 32. "Because of all the evil of the children of Israel and the children of YaHuWaH, which they have done to provoke me, they, their sovereigns, their heads, their priests, their prophets, and the men of YaHuWaH, and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim." He's making the difference between all those type of people, the man of YaHuWaH, the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, the priests, the prophets, the children of Israel. So the inhabitants of Jerusalem is a special group of people. And you remember, who is Yahushua's mother? A group of people doing the desire and the desire of YaHuWaH and His word. And the last witness is in the book of Zechariah. This is Zechariah. This is in the chapter 1, verse 18 and 19. It says the following. And I lifted up my eyes and looked and saw 4 horns. And I said to the messenger who was speaking to me, what are these? And he said to me, these are the horns that have scattered YaHuWaH, Israel, and Yerushalayim. We see 3 groups, YaHuWaH, Israel, and Yerushalayim. So we see the confirmation directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH about the existence of this group. So why this is so important? Because I want us to put our attention on the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. We need to understand, and we are trying to discover about what's the significance of Yerushalayim and what's her history. So when we go back in the Debar of YaHuWaH, when Israel entered into the promised land, we know that they divided the land according to the tribes. Okay, so we found this division, and this is very important just to understand the history of the Yerushalayim. We found this division in the book of YaHuWaH. This is Joshua chapter 18, verse 11, verse 21 and 28. It's book of YaHuWaH, Joshua 18, 11, 21 and 28. So it says the following. So the entire chapter, they are dividing the land, okay? So in the verse 11, and the lot of the tribe of the children of Benjamin came up for their clans, and the border of their lot came out between the children of YaHuWaH and the children of Yehusef or Joseph. So all the entire context that we're going to read now is the lot, is the inheritance of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, so let's jump to the verse 21. And it says, and the cities of the tribe of the children of Benjamin. Listen to this because it's important. This is part of the inheritance of the tribe of Benjamin, the children of Benjamin. For their clans were Jericho and Beit Hoglah and Emek Ketzitz. Let's skip to the verse 28. And it says, these are additional cities, and Selah, Eleph, and listen to this, and the Jebusites, that is Yerushalayim, Givat, Arkiriyah, 14 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the children of Benjamin for their clans. So when they divided the clans, keep in mind that there were other peoples, the enemies of YaHuWaH, the 7 nations that were living on the land. So Yerushalayim was a Jebusite city. But this city was part of the inheritance, the portion of the children of Benjamin. So that's really important because most of the time there are people that are confusing that Yerushalayim is part of YaHuWaH. No, Yerushalayim was part of the kingdom of YaHuWaH when there was the division, the house of YaHuWaH. But Yerushalayim, the city, was part of the promise, is part of the inheritance of the children of Benjamin. It's very important to understand that part. So let's go to the same because we can see this more clearly, and this in the same book, in the book of YaHuWaH, Joshua chapter 15, verse 1, 8 and 63. And the verse 1 it says, and the lot of the tribe of the children of YaHuWaH for their clans was to the border of the Dome, the wilderness of Sin, southward in the extreme south. So all that we're going to read here is related to the portion that was the inheritance of the children of YaHuWaH. So let's go to the verse 8. And it says, and the border went up. It's talking about the borders of the portion of the tribe of YaHuWaH. And the border went up by the valley of the son of Hinnom to the southern slope of the Jebusite city, that is Yerushalayim. And the border went up to the top of the mountain that lays before the valley of Hinnom westward, which is at the end of the valley of Rephaim northward. So we see here that the border of the portion of YaHuWaH was exactly on Yerushalayim, on the Jebusite city. So Yerushalayim wasn't part of the portion, the inheritance of the tribe of Yehudah, was part of the portion of the tribe of Benjamin. Important to understand this. Let's go to the verse 63. It says, "As for the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, the children of Yehudah, were unable to drive them out. So the Jebusites have dwelt with the children of Yehudah at Yerushalayim to this day." So we see this, that no matter that Yehudah was the border of Yehudah was the Yerushalayim, and even Yerushalayim being part of the city that the tribe of Yehudah received as an inheritance, they were unable to take away or drive away the Jebusites that were living in the city of Yerushalayim. Okay, and we have an additional witness of that. This is in the book of Shofetim. This is Judges, Shofetim chapter 1 verse 21. It says the following: "However, the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites who inhabited Yerushalayim. So the Jebusites have dwelt with the children of Benjamin in Yerushalayim to these days." So we see here the second witness, that the Jebusite, or the children of Yehudah and the children of the Benjamin, were unable to drive away the Jebusites. So important again, because we are understanding what is the history of Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim was a Jebusite city. It was part of the portion, the inheritance of the children of Benjamin, but neither the children of Benjamin nor the children of Yehudah were able to drive away the Jebusites from the city. So before continue, just to understand the next step in the history of Yerushalayim, I need to share with you something very important, okay? And this is something that I discovered as well, I don't know, I think 2 weeks ago, that the common understanding is that the division between the houses, the division of the kingdom of Israel between the two houses, the house of Yehudah and the house of Israel, only happened on the time of the son of Solomon, called Rehoboam. Because of the sin of Solomon, YaHuWaH said that the kingdom is going to be divided, and he's going to give one portion, one tribe for Shlomo, just for the sake of David. You can read this in the book of Samuel. And the rest of the tribes, YaHuWaH gave them to the servant of Shlomo, okay, Yaroboam. So the common understanding is that that was the only moment of the division of the two houses. But what I discovered, and what we're going to see now, that the division of the two houses existed before that, and actually existed on the time of the king Shaul HaMelech, and the king David HaMelech. So let's review that, because it's very important, because understanding that, we will understand what the importance and the significance of Yerushalayim in the entire context of his people, Israel. Okay, so let's go to Shemuel Bet. This is 2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1 to 11. And this is so amazing. Let's read it. "And it came to be afterwards that David inquired of YaHuWaH, saying, Do I go up to any of the cities of Yehudah? And YaHuWaH said to him, Go up. And David said, Where should I go up? And he said, To Hebron." You see, that's the way that the Ruach HaKodesh is guiding us. Last night I was sharing in the virtual house that we are relying so much on technologies, and this is taking us totally afar from the Ruach HaKodesh. We need to trust in YaHuWaH, that the Ruach HaKodesh can guide us even in the way that it was guiding David. David was asking for directions. I should go up, go up. Where I should go up? Go to Hebron. This is the way that the Ruach can guide us as well. So, verse 2, and David went up there, and as well as his two wives, Ahinoam, the Israelites, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal, the Carmelite. And David brought up the men who were with him, each man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And listen to this, because this is the important aspect. And the men of YaHuWaH came and anointed David sovereign over the house of YaHuWaH there. They also reported to David, saying, the men of Yabesh Gilad are they who buried Shaul. So we see here, let me read it again. The man of YaHuWaH came to Hebron to anoint David, and anoint David as king sovereign over the house of YaHuWaH. So we see here that the house of YaHuWaH was already in existence. The house of YaHuWaH existed already. The division existed already. They anointed David as the Melech over the house of YaHuWaH. Let's continue reading. David then sent messengers to the men of Yabesh Gilad and said to them, you are blessed of YaHuWaH, for you have shown this loving commitment to your master, to Shaul, that you buried him. And now YaHuWaH show loving commitment and truth to you, and I am also going to do you good, because you have done this deed. And now let your hands be strengthened, and be brave, for your master Shaul is dead. And also the house of YaHuWaH has anointed me sovereign over them. He is confirming that he is the king over the house of YaHuWaH. But Abner, son of Ner, commander of the army of Shaul, took Ishbosheth, the son of Shaul, and brought him over Mahanaim, and set him up to reign over Gilad, and over the Asherites, and over Israel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, son of Shaul, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. Only the house of YaHuWaH followed David. At the time that David was sovereign in Hebron over the house of YaHuWaH was 7 years and 6 Chodeshim. So we see here the division of the two houses already existed. David was the sovereign over the house of YaHuWaH, and he was ruling from where? From Hebron. And we see this other person, the son of Shaul, Ishbosheth. He was anointed as the king, the sovereign over Israel, over all the other tribes except YaHuWaH, and he was ruling from Gilad. So we see the division, and we see two cities. None of them is Yerushalayim. So why is that so important? Okay, because let's go just for a second witness in the same book, in the chapter 5, verse 1 to 5. It says the following: and all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron. So David was ruling at Hebron, and spoke, saying, look, we are your bone and your flesh. Formerly, when Shaul was sovereign over us, you were the one who led Israel out and brought them in. And YaHuWaH said to you, shepherd my people Israel, and be ruler over Israel. And all the elders of Israel came to the sovereign at Hebron, and sovereign David made a covenant with them at Hebron before YaHuWaH, and they anointed David sovereign over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over YaHuWaH 7 years and 6 Chodeshim. And in Yerushalayim, he reigned 33 years over all Israel and YaHuWaH. So what we see here is that we see the two houses divided. We see again David ruling over the house of YaHuWaH, and we see, if you read this in context, after the son of Shaul died, all the elders goes to David, and they are speaking to him, and he anointed him sovereign over all Israel. What it means is the unification of the two houses. It's exactly a foreshadow of what YaHuWaH is going to do with the two sticks, the two trees, one in one hand and the other hand, and he's going to put it together. It's the same that we see here David doing. He's taking the rulership, the sovereignty over the two houses of Israel, but he was ruling on Hebron. And this is the important thing that I want to share with you, coming back to the importance of Yerushalayim. Because what happened after this? Happened something very important on Yerushalayim, because this was the final conquer of Yerushalayim. It didn't happen before. This is when the two houses are united in one king, is when Yerushalayim got captured and was conquered. So let's continue reading in the verse 6 to verse 12. And the sovereign and his men went to Yerushalayim against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land. So this happened exactly after David was anointed sovereign, Melech, over all Israel. And they spoke to David, saying, except you take away the blind and the lame, you are not going to come in here, thinking, David is not going to come in here. But David captured the stronghold of Zion, the city of David. What is the stronghold of Zion? It's Yerushalayim, the city. And David said on that day, anyone who strikes the Jebusites, let him go by the water shaft and take the lame and the blind, who are hated by David's bane. And that is why they say the blind and the lame do not come into the house. And David dwelt in the stronghold and called it the city of David. And David built all around from the Millo and inward. And David went on and became great, and YaHuWaH Elohim of hosts was with him. So until 12. Now Hiram, sovereign of Sores, sent messengers to David and cedar trees and carpenters and masons, and they built a house for David. And David knew that YaHuWaH has established him as sovereign over Israel, and that he had exalted his reign because of his people Israel. So what's the importance of Yerushalayim? Yerushalayim became the city where the kingdom was unified. When the two houses were divided, David was reigning over Hebron, and the son of Shaul was reigning over Gilad. But when the elders of Israel anointed David as the sovereign over all Israel, David immediately captured Yerushalayim, and he started to rule over all Israel in Yerushalayim. So it's basically, what is the meaning of the city? What is the meaning and the importance of Yerushalayim? It means and represents the united kingdom. So basically, when we are talking about the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, it's talking about the inhabitants that were living with the king, representing the unified kingdom of Israel with the two houses. And you know, I have a study, I have it all in my head. I need to put it down in writing, and I will share it with you. And it's about the three main trees in the scripture: the olive tree, the fig tree, and the vine. Understanding that, we can understand perfectly how these three groups, the house of YaHuWaH, the house of Israel, and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, fit in this entire context. But the important point that I want to make here is that what's the importance of Yerushalayim is representing the unified kingdom. It is true, after the next division of the two houses, that the kings of the house of YaHuWaH continue ruling from Yerushalayim. But anyhow, as we can see here, Yerushalayim represents something else, something higher. and it represents the unified kingdom, because it's the city of Elohim, it's the city where Elohim will rule over all the earth through YaHuWaH. YaHuWaH will rule through in Yerushalayim. So why this is so important? Because there we started to see the connection between Yerushalayim and the people, Yerushalayim and a group of people. So why this is so important? And before that, let me share something with you, and that it happened to me, and I forgot to mention it before. In one of my trips to Yerushalayim, I was talking to a tour guide, and I was asking why, what's the name? Why Yerushalayim? Because in Hebrew, the when it's ending on im, it means plural. So Yerushalayim is a plural name. So I was asking him, why Yerushalayim and not Jerusalem? Jerusalem should be the singular name, but they are calling it Yerushalayim. It's a plural, talking about more than one. And the answer from the tour guide was straightforward. He said, because we believe in the existence of two Yerushalayim, one in the earth and one in the heaven. And it's exactly we see described in the Tanakh, in the word of YaHuWaH, even in the words of Shaul. So if our understanding is that the woman, the mother of the child and the mother of the children, is Yerushalayim, and specifically is the new Yerushalayim that is in the Shamayim, how the new Yerushalayim that is in the Shamayim is going to escape to the wilderness? It cannot be. But what it can be, that the inhabitants of the new Yerushalayim are the ones that are going to escape to the wilderness, the ones that are going to be protected, because them are part of the woman, are the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. Okay? So something that it came to my mind long time ago is an important parallel, and how to understand this is when YaHuWaH created man, he created from the dust of the earth. So we are just dust, we are part of the earth. And we became a living being, a soul, as soon as he breathed the Ruach, the wind, in the creation. Just in that moment, we became a living being. Okay? I think this pattern is the same applicable to Yerushalayim, is applicable to the Promised Land. You can find several passages throughout the scripture that you can see the land being deserted, a wilderness. It's like without life. Okay? So the land and the city of Yerushalayim is not complete. It represents just like the creation of the man, it represents the dust. But the inhabitants is the spirit and the soul, and both together represents the woman. Okay? So by understanding this and this pattern and this parallel, we can understand that those that are going to get born in the new Yerushalayim, and those that are going to be inhabiting specifically the new Yerushalayim, are going to be the one that is being representing the woman on Revelation 12. So how we can understand this? Okay? And this is so important, because we can see this directly in a prophecy in the book of Ezekiel, and this is in Ezekiel chapter 48. And before that, maybe you are asking me, but how Juan Carlos this can be done? Because Yerushalayim, as we already read, is the mother of us all, but not everybody is going to live in Yerushalayim. Not everybody, as in the past, was living in Yerushalayim. Everybody has inheritance, portion in the Promised Land, and Yerushalayim was just a specific place, and just few people, a group of people, were the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, as we already saw the three groups. So who is going to be the inhabitants of the new Yerushalayim? We don't know. So that's why we don't know either who's going to be that part of the group that is going to be protected. But anyway, Yerushalayim is the mother of us all, because as we saw in Hosea, that woman, the wife of the husband, is the mother of all the children of the husband, is the mother of all the children of Elohim. Okay? So, what we see in Ezekiel chapter 48, this is the prophecy on how the land, the promised land, is going to be divided once again. Okay? And we will read from the verse 8 to the 22. And why? Because this is an important portion of the land. And it says the following: and by the border of YaHuWaH. But let me make some comment first. If you read the previous verses from the verse 1 to the verse 7, you see the different portions for the tribes of Israel. Every tribe, like in the past, they are going to have a portion of the land, and they are going to be inhabiting that portion of the land. Okay, this is important to keep in mind. Okay, so let's read verse 8. And by the border of YaHuWaH from the east side to the west is the contribution which you offer up 25,000 cubits in width, and in length the same as one of the portion from the east side to the west, with the set apart place in its midst. The contribution that you offer up to YaHuWaH is 25,000 cubits in length and 10,000 in width. So we see here, as part of the division of the land, there is a specific portion. It's a contribution. It's a contribution, a portion of the land that is a contribution for YaHuWaH. And this is the important thing, because what is going to be in the midst of this portion of land is going to be the set apart place. What is the set apart place? The Hechal of YaHuWaH, the temple of YaHuWaH. And what is the temple of YaHuWaH? In Yerushalayim, in the set apart mountain. It's important, keep that in mind. Let's continue in the verse 10. And of this is the set apart contribution for the priest. So within this portion of the land, this contribution, there is a specific piece for the Kohanim. Let's continue. On the north 25,000 cubits, and on the west 10,000 in width, and on the east 10,000 in width, and on the east 10,000 in width, and on the south 25,000 in length. And the set apart place of YaHuWaH shall be in its midst. So in the portion assigned for the priest of for the Kohanim is where the Hechal, the Har Kodesh, the set apart mountain of YaHuWaH, is going to be there in the portion of the Kohanim, within this big portion that is the contribution for YaHuWaH. Verse 11, for the priest of the sons of Zadok. Who? The son of Zadok. This is repeating all the time, and I spoke about that last night in the virtual house. Who are set apart, who did guard my charge, who did not go astray when the children of Israel went astray, as the Levites went astray. So this contribution shall be to them from the contribution of the land, a most set apart place by the border of the Levites. So YaHuWaH, the contribution of YaHuWaH, he's assigning a portion for the Kohanim. The Kohanim are going to live there in this portion. And you remember that when we review one of the passages in this study, is that YaHuWaH, for those that are coming from in the second Exodus, he's going to take from those some for Levites and some for priests. So some of those people that are going to participate in the second Exodus are going to be assigned priests, and Levites are going to be live in this portion. Okay, let's continue in the verse 12. So this contribution shall be to them from the contribution of the land, a most set apart place by the border of the Levites. And alongside the border of the priests, the Levites have 25,000 cubits in length and 10,000 in width, its entire length in 25,000, and its width 10,000. And they do not sell any of it, nor exchange it, nor transfer this best part of the land, for it is set apart to YaHuWaH. So we see there is a portion, again, beside the portion for the priest, there is another portion for the Levites within this contribution, this portion for YaHuWaH. Let's continue in the verse 15, because here we start to see interesting thing as well. And the 5,000 cubits in width that is left, there is a portion that is left within this contribution, facing the 25,000, is for common use for what? By the city. What city? The city of Yerushalayim. I just saw something important. Ezekiel gave us an answer. When he saw a vision, he looked to the south and he saw the city in the south. And I think this is totally related to that, because if the Hechal is beyond that, the city is going to be in another place. We need to study that more, in more details. So it says, for a common use by the city, for dwellings and open land, and the city shall be in its midst. So what is the city? Is the new Yerushalayim, the city of YaHuWaH. And these are its measurement. The north side, let me see. Yes, the north side 500 cubits, and the south side 4,500, and the east side 4,500, and the west side 4,500. And the open land of the city shall be to the north 250 cubits, and to the south 250, and to the east 250, and to the west 250. And the rest of the land alongside the contribution of the set apart portion is 10,000 cubits to the east, and 10,000 to the west. And it shall be alongside the contribution of the set apart portion, and its increase shall be food for the workers of the city. So there's going to be portions of the land, two portions next to the two sides of the city, and it says here that it's going to be, it's increased, the increase of this portion shall be for food for the worker of the city. So there are going to be workers on the city, people living on that city. And it says, and the worker of the city from all the tribes of Israel shall tell it. So we see that the promised land is going to be divided from within all the tribes of Israel, and each tribe is going to live in their own portion. But we see here workers from all the tribes of Israel working on the city inside the portion that is the contribution of YaHuWaH. And what is this city? Who is this city? Which is the city? Is Yerushalayim, the new Yerushalayim. So we see here that there are going to be people from all the tribes of Israel living and working in this city. So it's a special group of people. The entire contribution is 25,000 cubits by 25,000 cubits 4 square. You are to offer up the set apart contribution with the possession of the city, and the rest is for the prince on one side and on the other of the set apart contribution and of the possession of the city, facing the 25,000 cubit of the set apart contribution as far as the eastern border, and westward facing the 25,000 as far as the western border alongside the portion of the prince. And the set apart contribution and the set apart place of the house shall be in its midst. So the possession of the Levites and the possession of the city are in the midst of what belongs to the prince. Between the border of Yehudah and the border of Benjamin, it belongs to the prince. And we see who is the prince. Is Yahushua HaMashiach. He's going to be the owner of this portion of the land. He's going to be the owner of the portion that belongs in the contribution to YaHuWaH. And part of this contribution includes the Hechal, includes the portion for the Kohenim, includes the portion for the Levites, and includes the portion for the new Yerushalayim. And the inhabitants of Yerushalayim is going to be the ones dwelling in this new Yerushalayim from all the tribes of Israel. So how we can see, what we can see here in the Debar of YaHuWaH, that there is a special group of people within all the tribes of Israel that are gonna be living on that city. Okay? And you can put a parallel here. And I haven't done this study, and I think it's important to do it. We see that the 144,000 that are being sealed in the book of Revelation are from all the tribes of Israel. Those could be the ones that are going to be inhabiting the city. Also, what we can see, and that's why I'm telling you this is not an answer. I don't know the answer yet. Who are going to be the people? Maybe we don't know, and maybe we are not going to know until the moment that it's going to happen. That those 144,000 are going to be kings and priests. And we saw that the priests are going to have a specific part on that city as well. So maybe those inhabitants of Jerusalem is going to be another people, not the 144,000. We don't know. It's something that we need to study. But what we see here is that is this group of people, the group of people that are going to be inhabiting the new Yerushalayim, according to what we see here in Ezekiel, are the ones that are representing the woman that is going to escape to the wilderness. And in the verse 35, there is something very important that we saw in one of the passages, that the city, the name of the city is going to change, right? And we see here what is written, all around 18,000 cubits, and the name of the city from that day is YaHuWaH Shammah, that it means YaHuWaH is there. So that's going to be the new name of Yerushalayim. It's going to be YaHuWaH Shammah. YaHuWaH is there because he's going to live in that city. It's quite amazing, the Debar of YaHuWaH. Okay, so there is more aspects here that I wanted to share with you. Let's go to YaHuWaH chapter 5, verse 10 to 12. Because this is something, and we are almost closing the study. This long, very long study. Chapter 5, but an amazing one, because we can see directly from the word of YaHuWaH the truth. So Matthew chapter 5, verse 10 to 12. These are the blessing from Yahushua. It says, Baruch, blessed are those persecuted for righteousness' sake, because there is the kingdom of the Shamayim. Baruch, blessed are those are you when they reproach and persecute you, and falsely say every wicked word against you for my sake. Rejoice and be glad, because your reward in the Shamayim is great. For in this way they persecuted the prophet who were before you. What is the reward that we have in the Shamayim? Are the places that Yahushua went to prepare for us in the new Yerushalayim. So part of what Yahushua is saying, that the reward for those people is going to be a place in the new Yerushalayim. That's my understanding. Okay, so let's go to the same book, YaHuWaH chapter 16, verse 27. This is a special reward. And you remember, we will receive rewards in different aspects, and we have several parables that are speaking about that. So YaHuWaH chapter 16, verse 27. It says, for the son of Adam is going to come in the steam of his father with his messenger, and then he shall reward each according to his works. So there are going to be different kind of rewards, and it's going to be according to their works, just reading over here. So Yahushua is going to give rewards to many people. Part of the rewards, it's my belief, is to live in the new Yerushalayim. It doesn't mean that if you are not living in the new Yerushalayim, in YaHuWaH Shammah, we are not going to be able to go. For sure it's not. Because keep in mind that in order to keep the Torah and keep the Debar of YaHuWaH, is that we need to go all the time to his city to celebrate the Moedim, the Shabbats, and so on. But it doesn't mean that all of us are going to live in that city. It means that a group of people are going to be the inhabitants of the new Yerushalayim, and that group of people that are going to receive that reward are representing the mother of Yahushua, the group of people that are representing the woman that is going to escape to the Shamayim. Okay, so let's go to Hasson Revelation, chapter 22, verse 12. Verse 22, sorry, chapter 22, 22:12. And it says, "And see, I am coming speedily, and my reward is with me, to give to each according to his work." Is repeating and repeating that he's going to reward us according to our work. So that's why there are going to be different kind of rewards depending on our works. And some of that reward is going to be to inhabit the new Yerushalayim. Let's go to Revelation, Hasson, chapter 3, verse 12. And this is the message, important message to the assembly of Philadelphia. And that's why I think it's not only the 144,000, I think it's more people. It says, "He who overcomes, I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my Elohim." What is going to be the dwelling place of Elohim? In this portion that is the contribution of YaHuWaH. We already saw it in Ezekiel. Let's continue. "And he shall by no means go out. And I shall write on him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, the renewed Yerushalayim, which comes down out of the Shamayim from my Elohim, and my renewed name." So we see here the promise for those of the assembly of Philadelphia that are going to endure till the end. Okay? So the promise to be part of a support on the dwelling place and to receive the name of the new Yerushalayim, to be part of the new Yerushalayim. Okay? There is another aspect that I wanted to share with you, and let me go to that very fast if I can. This is in the book of YaHuWaH. You remember that what we saw about the barren woman, and we saw this in many places, that this barren woman doesn't know how she brought forth those children. And we also saw in the book of Matthew that the sons of Elohim, that are the sons of the woman as well, the brothers of Yahushua, they didn't came by the desire of woman, man, blood of flesh. They came by the desire of YaHuWaH Elohim. So what is this related to? And we also saw that the new Yerushalayim is the mother of us all. And we are the promised, the promised children, or the seed of the promised. So let's go very fast to the YaHuWaH, and this is John chapter 3. John chapter 3. So this is an important story when Yahushua was talking to Nachdimon. This is Nicodemus, and they are talking about that we need to born again. And Yahushua, it says in the verse 3:2, "This one came to Yahushua by night and said to him, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from Elohim, for no one is able to do these signs you do if Elohim is not with him." Yahushua answered and said to him, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born from above, he is unable to see the reign of Elohim." We need to born from above. And who is above? Is the new Yerushalayim. We need to get birth from this mother of us all, from new Yerushalayim. This is what Yahushua is speaking about. Nachdimon said to him, "How is a man able to be born when he is old?" He's thinking that we need to go to the womb of a woman a second time and be born. Yahushua answered, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he is unable to enter into the reign of Elohim." So what Yahushua is talking about, that we need to birth again. We need to be born again in water And this is part of the immersion of water. There's plenty of passages that you can review and we can review in order to confirm this. But when we are going to be born again in the Spirit, in the Ruach, most of the people, and I was part of that group as well, believe that it was during the immersion on the Ruach HaKodesh. This is the baptism in the Ruach HaKodesh. But it's not that. It's during the resurrection. You remember, YaHuWaH resurrected. He died and he was born again. And actually, he was born in the city of Yerushalayim. So, and he was born even before the woman entered in labor, before pain came to the woman in the Shamayim. She brought forth the child, YaHuWaH, because YaHuWaH was born again through the resurrection. He was born in Ruach. So when the woman is gonna give birth to her children, as we saw in Yeshayahu 66, at the moment of our resurrection or transformation, because we are gonna be transformed or changed in uncorruptible body, because no flesh and no blood can enter in the reign of Elohim. This is what is written in the word of YaHuWaH. This is the moment when we are gonna be born again in Ruach. This is the moment when the woman will give birth to her children. Let's continue verse 6. That which has been born of the flesh is flesh, and that which has been born of the Ruach is spirit. Do not marvel that I said to you, you have to be born from above, from the new Yerushalayim. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from and where it goes. So if everyone who has been born of the Spirit. Nachdimon answered and said to him, how is it possible for this to take place? YaHuWaH answered and said to him, are you the teacher of Israel and do not know this? Truly, truly, I said to you, we speak what we know and witness what we have seen, and you do not receive our witness. So YaHuWaH was amazed. He was surprised that Nachdimon, Nicodemus, didn't know about this. And why didn't know about this? And this is something very important, because we discussed at the beginning that the new Yerushalayim needs to be a virgin, needs to be a maiden. And this is related to the tale of the two women, that Yerushalayim needs to be redeemed. Yerushalayim needs to be a bride again. Yerushalayim needs to be a virgin, a maiden again. Why is that? Because of the commandment and the Torah for the high priest. The high priest can take only a virgin as a wife. So it cannot be that the new Yerushalayim is not a virgin. That's why Nicodemus should understood that. That's why YaHuWaH was so surprised. Maybe you are not understanding me so far about this point now. But when we are going to talk about, we will continue talking about the tale of the two women and about who is really Babel, the great, and the daughter of Babel. You will understand better what I'm talking about now. Okay? So this is really important, because being born again, it means that we need to be born from above, in our mother of us all, in the new Yerushalayim. And born in the Spirit, in the Ruach, is the moment of the resurrection. That's why YaHuWaH get born from the mother, from this woman at the moment of his resurrection, before she was in labor. Okay? So last passage that I want to share with you before going to the closing. It's something that I didn't share before, but it's important to mention, because are the words of YaHuWaH. And this is in the book of Yehohanan, John chapter 16, verse 21. Is YaHuWaH speaking to his Talmidim. It says, let's start in the 20. Truly, truly, I say to you, you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And you shall be grieved, but your grief shall become joy. And listen to this. The woman has grief when she is in labor, because her hour has come. But as soon as she has given birth to a child, she no longer remembers the affliction, for joy that a man was born into the world. And you therefore have grief now, but I shall see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and no one takes your joy away from you. So YaHuWaH is talking and giving us the key about the woman in labor, and he's talking and doing the parallel, the reference, that the woman in labor is gonna be rejoicing as soon as she see the child that she gave birth, and it's gonna be joy and no longer remember the affliction. And who is gonna be the one that is gonna be rejoicing? The Talmidim. And you, is said in the 22, therefore have grief now, but I shall see you again. So when the Talmidim are gonna see YaHuWaH again, your heart shall rejoice in the same way that YaHuWaH was explaining, that the woman will rejoice, the woman rejoice after she see her child. So we see again an indication from the Debar of YaHuWaH directly in the words of YaHuWaH about who the woman is the group of people that are going to be inhabiting the New Yerushalayim. So, just to close this long study, there is one aspect that I said at the beginning that is a mystery and I don't understand it yet. And because we saw that the New Yerushalayim is the bride and is the wife of YaHuWaH, and we saw that New Yerushalayim is the mother of us all, including is the mother of YaHuWaH. So we read on the book of Revelation that who is the bride? We already saw it. Is the New Yerushalayim and is the bride of the Lamb. So the New Yerushalayim is the bride of YaHuWaH as well. So how is it possible that the mother of YaHuWaH could be also his bride? This is the part that is really a mystery, and it's something that it needs more and more study. But we cannot deny all the witnesses we have been seeing in this long study to confirm and understand that the woman of Revelation 12, the mother of us all, is the New Yerushalayim, is the same mother of YaHuWaH HaMashiach. So I think this mystery is related to the mystery of Elohim, is the secret of Elohim that is going to be revealed on the end times. And let me share with you some passages just to give you more context on this, that I believe is the mystery that we are going to be able to understand only at the end times. So let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 10. Verse 7, it says the following: But in the days of the sounding of the seventh messenger, when he is about to sound, the secret of Elohim shall also be ended, and as he declared to his servants the prophets. So at the moment of the seventh trumpet, we will know the secret of Elohim. The secret of Elohim will be known and will be revealed. So I think this is part of the secret of Elohim. So let's go and review some other passages because there are important aspects. So let's go to the book of Shir Hashirim. This is Song of Psalms, Shir Hashirim in Hebrew, to the chapter 8, verse 1 to the verse 5. And it says the following: Who would make you a brother to me, who nursed at my brother's breasts? Should I find you outside, I would kiss you. I would not be despised. So he's talking about the relationship between a woman and a man. And this woman is calling him a brother as well. Okay? I will lead you, I will bring you into the house of my mother. She who has taught me, I would give you spiced wine to drink, of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. I have put you under oath, O daughters of Yerushalayim. Do not stir up or awake love until it pleased. Who are the daughters of Yerushalayim? This is something very important to understand and to discover. I'm not gonna go here, and actually we will review it in the study of the tale of the two women and who is Babel. Babylon. But the two, we need to understand who are the children of this mother, Yerushalayim, to see this. Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? Under the apple tree I awakened you. There your mother was in labor with you. There she was in labor, gave birth to you. So we see here, and I'm not doing any connection, I'm just sharing with you that these passages somehow are telling us about this specific secret, the secret that we are going to know at the moment of the seventh trumpet, is my belief. Just to understand how this can be happening, that the bride and the mother are the same woman. So let's go to YaHuWaH chapter 31 verse 32. This is also important, and also I think is part of the secret. And it says the following. YaHuWaH chapter 31 verse 22. It says, "Till when would you turn here and there, O backsliding daughter? For YaHuWaH has created what is new on earth. A woman encompasses a man." You see this? It's also that YaHuWaH is creating something new, and I believe this is part of the secret. And let's go to the last one in Debarim, Deuteronomy, chapter 29. Verse 29. It is said, "The secret matters belongs to YaHuWaH our Elohim, but what is revealed belongs to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah." So we have been reviewing and we have been going through back and forth throughout the entire Debar of YaHuWaH to understand this amazing truth. I know this is a long study, but the topic that I'm sharing with you is so important, and we have been just reading the Debar of YaHuWaH. We have been reading his words, and we see without any shadow of a doubt that the woman of Revelation 12, the mother of Yahushua and the mother of us all, is the new Yerushalayim. So who is that woman that is going to escape? Are the inhabitants of the new Yerushalayim. We don't know who is going to be them. Who's going to be the inhabitant of the new Yerushalayim? This is the way that we need to understand the scripture. This is the way that we need to look for the answers of the Debar of YaHuWaH in order to understand the truth, because that's the way that the Ruach will help us to understand the revelation of his Debar. And now we see clearly that the new Yerushalayim is that woman, and this is so important because when we study about who is Babel, we will see how this is in total harmony on the plan of YaHuWaH, just to see how and what he's doing with his people, what he's doing with his inheritance, what is he doing with his creation, you know. So we need to follow his words, we need to follow his steps, we need to follow his truth, we need to find the light of the Debar of YaHuWaH here. That's the only way that we are going to be able to understand, as we understand now that the identity of the woman is the new Yerushalayim, is the mother of us all. So thank you for watching this video. Toda Rabah to studying with me all of these topics. It's so amazing, the Debar of YaHuWaH. This is the best thing that we can do, study the Debar of YaHuWaH, is to understand his truth, is just to let the Ruach HaKodesh fill us with YaHuWaH's presence. So pray for the family, because we are living in amazing times and everything will happen very soon. That's my belief. I can be wrong, but what I feel here in my heart, that we are living in the last times, in the last days, and as we will see in the next video, the time is very short, and we will see where we are in the timeline that we are creating. So thank you. YaHuWaH be with you. Shabbat Shalom, and see you in the next video. Bye.